Who Dat?
Who that?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Um, wow. So a lot of guys been cut around the NFL so far. Um, I don't know if there are really too many big surprises. I think like the Vikings, or I'm sorry, no, not the Vikings. The Lions cutting Dan Skipper, who's like a starter, was kind of surprising. I personally was a little surprised. I mean, if you saw the thumbnail, you know, but I was a little surprised that the Steelers cut Robert Woods. Might be like an injury thing or something. I don't know. Your boy got cut too.
Thank you, Lord.
What?
We talking about Jake Hayner?
Oh no, no! I was talking about Terrace Marshall.
Oh, hell, oh, I didn't even see that. Nah, y'all doing my dog wrong, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he was in the thumbnail.
Oh, well, I didn't, bro. I didn't, man. I don't pay attention to thumbnails like I used to. But
Well, but no,
nah.
I know that you pay attention to thumbnail because just a few minutes before we started, you were like, you brought up Tommy DeVito because you saw him in the
Yeah,
thumbnail.
I look at that part, and then that literally, I didn't even look at the other two guys. That's all Tommy DeVito. And I'm like, oh yeah, he could get that right.
Well, the other two
Like,
guys were
well,
Robert Woods and Terrace
I saw
Marshall.
Robert Woods. I was dealing with the third guy for whatever reason because I kind of saw him, but I didn't know that was Terrence Marshall because it's been a while since I actually saw his face and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Terrence Marshall was an LSU legend. I don't know if they do College Football Hall of Fame, but if he probably still wouldn't have got in. But he would definitely have been up for it if they did that. And they might
I
do it.
I'd really like to see him on the Bengals. I don't think there's any real shot of that. There's no shot, especially with bringing T Higgins back. There's barely any room for anybody on the roster as is. But I mean, like he's not gonna play over Yoshi. I mean, at best in here he'd be like the number 4 wide receiver, and
Yeah,
I don't think it would really work out that well. Like he'd be competing with Mitchell Tinsley, which Mitchell Tinsley looked really good in the preseason. I have some doubts that he's going to look that good against starting NFL cornerbacks.
Interesting.
But so you brought it up though. Jake Hayner, not a surprising move at all. I don't think anybody on. Oh, your other boy got cut. One of your favorite players in the NFL,
Who we talking about?
Peyton Turner.
I know he got put on IR, but that doesn't surprise me.
Oh no, you're right. He did get put on IR. Sorry, he's on this list of NFL cuts, but they're actually another name for the Cowboys who got cut was Hakeem Adeniji, who was a starting offensive lineman on our Super Bowl team.
Oh, did you see that Bobby Hart got cut?
Of course, he got cut. He's the fact that he's still in the NFL boggles my mind. I didn't see that. I did not see that he got cut, and like the fact that you just told me he got I would have assumed he got cut. Like, duh. It's Bobby Hart. Are you kidding me?
I mean, hey, just because you don't like the guy, don't maybe the Commanders like him for some reason.
Look, dude, NFL teams like Bobby Hart significantly more than me because he keeps getting work. I don't understand it, but you know what? Whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, shoot. But anyways, man. But before we move on, Jake Hayner is, I think, the new Ian Book.
Why do you say that?
Because Ian Book was drafted really late, but some people who were morons, including myself, thought that he had potential, and then he only had to start one game, so we could all know that was definitely not going to happen, and then gets cut a couple years later, and that's literally the exact same thing Jake Hayner did.
For some reason, I thought Ian Book was a second-round pick, but I guess he was
like, fourth, fifth,
yeah, fourth. Both him and Jake Hayner were fourths.
Bro, that feels this. If I was a 4th round pick the same year, if I was a 5th round pick the same year, Book and Hayner got drafted, I would feel insulted.
Cleveland Farrell got cut.
I
I don't know if in 2025 he's relevant, but
pretty sure he was like a top 4 pick when he came out.
yeah, I mean, like at one time he was relevant. Probably like 14 decades ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jacoby Jones got cut
Don't
by
know
the
who that is.
Commanders. I didn't even realize he wasn't still with the Raiders.
Cool.
So yeah, who's the biggest surprise from the Saints then?
The biggest surprise, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people, if y'all didn't watch the Saints preseason games, which I'm just gonna go ahead and assume was all of you, other than Mikey himself. And if there's any other Saints fans, I'll pop in the chat. I think the biggest surprise, to me at least, was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And before you're like, Clyde didn't really do anything, I understand that. But like, Phyllis Jones made it over him. And look, I'm not gonna beat the dead horse. Phyllis Jones had a couple impressive games, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire was running through folks, man. Like he was actually playing like he wanted to be on the team, but Kellen Moore just decided not to go. So that was definitely a surprise. Jake Haener, I think the only thing that was surprising about the Jake Haener cut is that we assumed that there was going to be 3 quarterbacks on the team like we usually keep, but I'm not complaining. I'll say that. And Dante Pettis, he was definitely another guy that I thought for sure was going to make the team because him and Spencer Rattler, who is the starting quarterback now, let's go. But Spencer Rattler and Dante Pettis, I feel like had a beautiful connection in the preseason. So I was shocked when they let him go. But other than that, I feel like everybody was kind of expected.
What about Cam Akers?
Cam Akers freaking sucks, dude.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Bro, that man was literally the Jamal Williams of this year. Bro, that man couldn't buy a yard if he wanted to.
So on the
offensive line crap, but why could everybody else run so well except for Cam Akers?
So on the Bengals end, obviously there's not really hardly any notable names. There's
you cut your best quarterback. You cut your best quarterback.
No. So we so he's talking about Desmond Ridder. We cut Desmond Ridder, which was like duh. First of all, like the 2 or 3 snaps that Desmond Ridder even got to play in the preseason, he didn't look very good. And I think it was like pretty much everybody knew that pretty much I think pretty much everybody knew. Oh, I see. That's why that's not working. Okay. Pretty much everybody knew that Desmond Ridder was literally just being brought in as like, you know, more or less an insurance policy for Jake Haener. Jake Haener. Why the fuck? Jake what? Browning. Got Jake. There's too many Jakes in the NFL. What's up, Connor? So
many Williams, Johnsons, Jakes.
Desmond Ridder was just being brought in as an insurance policy for Jake Browning. I think there was maybe like, at least among Bengals fans, there was like some thought about like, hey, maybe if Desmond Ridder looks, you know, halfway decent enough, then maybe we can trade Jake Browning for, you know, like a 5th round pick or something like that. But, you know, we get some value out of a guy who was undrafted. Because, you know, Jake Browning's turned out to be one of the better NFL backups at quarterback. But, you know, no such luck. You know, I didn't think that was, probably wasn't super realistic. But, you know, but the way that Desmond Ridder played, there was just no chance that that was ever going to happen.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, he was a starting quarterback. You know?
Yeah, for the Falcons. They'll let anybody be a starter. They'll let your blind hamster be their starting quarterback. That's how stupid they are.
I mean, fair enough. I'm just saying, like, if a guy is a starting quarterback in the NFL, you assume he can at least make another team's roster.
Okay, Ian Book started a game. Does that make him a freaking starter?
But he wasn't the starter. Like, Desmond Ridder was the starter in Atlanta.
Russell, the guy the Raiders drafted #1, he was their starter to start his career, and then he busted out. I
mean, I know he didn't get drafted as high, but it reminds me of Josh Rosen. You know, he didn't. I mean, he didn't stick around in the NFL long term or anything like that. But like, you know, when he went to another team after the Cardinals cut him loose, he'd stuck around with that team typically for at least the rest of the year. So, you know, now again, it was a different situation with the Bengals because Desmond Ridder was trying to win a job that was pretty already solidly locked down. Like he was gonna Jake Browning was going to have to like probably get injured or something like that. And like even if Jake Browning played really bad and Desmond Ritter played really good, it's probably unlikely they would have they would have picked Desmond Ritter over Jake Browning because like Jake Browning's like known in the locker room and like we've already seen on tape that he's pretty good. Like it would have probably taken almost a miracle for Desmond Ritter to have made the team over Jake Browning, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility to think that could happen on most NFL teams because at the end of the day, whether you like him or not, Desmond Ritter was a starter, and that matters for teams whether you agree with it or not. Like, bad starters get more work in the NFL all the time. Yeah. I mean, look at Aiden O'Connell. He's still the starting quarterback with the Raiders just because they're like, might as well.
He's not the starter, though.
Well, he got injured.
But even if he didn't, he still wouldn't be the starter.
Oh, right, because they brought in Geno Smith.
Exactly.
I'm okay. Who am I thinking of then?
How dare you forget Eugene?
I think I'm thinking of somebody other than Aiden O'Connell. But point being, like the Raiders are one of those teams where they keep getting these bad quarterbacks who go on to like continue to have careers elsewhere. Not very good careers, but like keep getting work because they were a starter.
Respect on Uncle Rico's name.
I wasn't saying Geno Smith's bad. Like,
I'm not talking about Geno. I'm talking about Aiden O'Connell. You're gonna put some respect on Uncle Rico.
He's Uncle Rico?
He is today.
Okay. I think Gardner Minshew might be Uncle Rico, but so Shadur Sanders, breaking news, made the Browns.
Oh wow, who goes all that?
I don't.
Shiloh got cut after he slapped the guy.
Well, yeah, I mean that's duh. Like, I mean, Shiloh didn't have nearly the profile that Shadur has.
Yeah, but yeah, that's crazy though, man. And now the CFL is his rights, and also Shadur rights. I don't even know how the CFL works, man.
You don't know how the CFL works with the rights, or just how the CFL works in general?
All of it. The rights, the teams, the players, the everything.
Well, I think the rights work the same way they do in the NFL. Like,
but like, can they just call Patrick Mahomes and be like, "Hey, Mahomes, I want you to play in the CFL now instead of the NFL, man. Can you do that for me?"
Well, no, that's not what that means. It's not that the CFL doesn't have his rights. A team on the CFL has his rights. So meaning that if he decides to play in the CFL, he'd have to play for that team. He couldn't play for a different team. But that doesn't mean he has to play. Well, you can't force players to play. They're like, I mean, I bring up the Trey Hendrickson thing again, because like people don't seem to understand that Trey Hendrickson did not have to play football. Like, there's nowhere in the law that it says that you have to, like, do what your contract says. It says that you don't get paid if you do that. But, Trey Hendrickson had every right to hold out, and not get paid. That's what the trade-off is. But that's what he was willing to risk that. So the Bengals, they ended up signing a 1-year deal for him to come back for 1 year. He's going to be a free agent next year. And a lot of people have like criticized Trey Hendrickson as like, well, what did you even get out of all of that? You're still only here for the next year. Well, first of all, he's got $30 million that he's going to make this year. Like that's a lot more money than he was making last year. And more than he would have made like on a franchise tag or anything like that. And on top of that, it gives him, like he's a free agent next year, so he can he was always going to be a free agent next year, and he remains a free agent next year. So he's agreeing to come and play for the Bengals for this year, and then next year he has the ability to negotiate with anybody. If the Bengals decide that they're going to continue to play hardball with him, which I expect them to do because they're stupid, then Trey Hendrickson's probably going to walk and go somewhere else next year where they're going to pay him the contract that he wants. And that's not a lose situation for him, but it's also not a lose for the Bengals. I mean, it'll be a lose for the Bengals when they let him walk, but that's just the Bengals are stupid and they're going to do that anyway. But it's kind of a win-win for both sides because the Bengals don't seem to want to give him guarantees for whatever reason. I don't understand that one at all. But the Bengals don't seem to want to give him guarantees. but they still get him to, like, they're guaranteeing he's going to play this year. Yeah, they had to throw him a bunch of extra money to do it. But guess what? We still have like $15 million in salary cap. So it's like this whole idea that we weren't going to be able to get T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson all re-signed and also be able to make moves in free agency. Like, that's, do the math.
2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah. I already went on this rant on my live stream with Trey Hendrickson getting re-signed. Which, by the way, Mikey, how does it feel that you won't be getting Trey Hendrickson back in New Orleans?
It feels great, man. We got that boy Spencer Rattler. I'm sure he can sack somebody too.
He's probably not. But, you know. So on the Bengals end, as far as like significant cut news, obviously, you know, Desmond Ridder is the most notable name. But I think everybody and their brother knew that he wasn't going to make the team. Other than that, I mean, it's really a bunch of guys that, like, you've never heard of, Mikey. I've heard of all these guys. I know who they are, and I mean, I'm a little surprised. Huh?
I've heard of Joe Giles-Harris, who you cut today.
Was he a former Saint player?
No.
Was he an LSU player?
No, I don't think so.
Why do you know about him then?
I just know him because I watched him.
You just know the name?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you know, he's been in the league for a little bit now, but I mean, he hasn't really been relevant hardly anywhere. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we cut Joe Giles-Harris, but like, I mean, our linebacker depth is pretty solid right now, so I didn't have any expectation he'd make the team. I was a little surprised that so Jalen Davis, who's been kind of a like our sixth man at corner, but he's been the sixth man at corner forever. You know, he's been like the guy who like always makes the roster at the very end because the coaching staff likes him or whatever. He got cut. Now, I also want to say, like, none of these cuts really especially some of these back of the roster guys, don't necessarily mean anything. Because, like, a lot of these waived guys, like Jalen Davis, very well could get brought back on the practice squad, or they could even get brought back on the roster because teams like to do roster gymnastics and stuff. So these are not the final rosters. Like, you know, they always call it the final 53-man roster. It's not the final roster at all. Like, I mean, these rosters, you know, could look completely different. Not completely different, but, you know, the back end of the rosters could look completely different a couple days from now because teams, like, you know, make moves and jumps and stuff. They just had to make sure they got under 53. So these are the guys who just aren't going to make it. I told you, Mikey, before we started rolling, but, you know, if you're not a Bengals fan, you probably don't know who he is, but Mumajong Meta got released. Who was like, you know, kind of like a preseason darling last year. But he just, you know, again, it's a crowded linebacker room now because they put a lot of work into it. You know, Jermaine Pratt was like, I want to trade. And the Bengals were like, cool, we're just going to completely flood the roster and you're going to be completely useless here anyway. And I hate saying that because I love Jermaine Pratt, but, you know, there wasn't really a whole lot of leverage for him there on that one. We got a new long snapper, which makes sense because I never really thought that Cal Adamitis was, you know, a great fit. Like, maybe at the very beginning he was, but I never felt like he adjusted to like the new punter, and like he always kind of had like up and down struggles like meshing with Evan McPherson. So I hope the new long snapper can kind of solve those problems. We cut Tanner McLaughlin. That makes me sad.
You did do that. I did see that.
Yeah. Jackson Kirkland is a guy who I thought might have made the roster just because he's a reliable backup. So I'm a little surprised that he's gone. We also cut what's his name? A former first round pick.
Joe Burrow?
No, not. First of all, not our former first round pick. He was like a former first round pick of like the Jaguars.
Trevor Lawrence?
No, we didn't cut Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
There was a lot of like talk in Cincinnati about how they Taven Bryan. Taven
Damn
Bryan.
right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just heard.
There was a lot of talk among like Bengals fans and like Bengals journalists and stuff that like there's a good chance that he was going to make the roster, but you know there's a reason why he's kind of been bouncing around everywhere he's gone because the Jaguars are bad at drafting.
Yeah.
Um,
They drafted Trevor Lawrence when they should have drafted Zach Wilson.
okay. Um, but I mean, there's not really any names that the Bengals got rid of that really jump out of the page. Like again, other than Desmond Ritter, just because he, again, was a starter at one time and was a second round pick at one time. Taven Bryan, kind of, but like I think most NFL fans have kind of forgotten who Taven Bryan is. So I think he's kind of an off the radar guy to cut. Mumajong Meta might be notable to you if you're a Bengals fan. Apparently, Mikey recognized Joe Giles Harris, which like I'm not even entirely sure who he is. So, that's something, I guess. We got a new long snapper.
Because I was looking at the Bengals roster on Madden, and I was like, that man has 3 names. I like that.
Tanner McLaughlin, the tight end who we cut, that is a guy who I was a little surprised didn't do more. Like he was a 6th round draft pick, but like he kind of felt like a guy who could have gone in like the 3rd or 4th round, and he just never really quite materialized. What?
But he didn't.
Well, no, you're right. He didn't. But for what it's worth, the Bengals kept 5 tight ends.
Oh wow, we kept 3.
Why the fuck we kept 5 tight ends? Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I projected. Oh well, okay. I wrote up a script and I didn't actually do the video because Trey Hendrickson got re-signed and then I didn't have time to make the video, so I didn't actually get around to projecting it. But I did project. I can show you the script if you want. That Tanner Hudson might end up getting cut, but he ended up making the roster. So good for him. He's sticking around. But apparently, Drew Sample is our starting tight end according to the depth chart.
Huh?
Apparently, Drew Sample is the starting tight end according to the depth chart. There's no way that's accurate, by the way. Jermaine Burton made the roster. There was some talk about the Bengals potentially, being done with him, but I think part of that's the fact that he's injured and they can probably put him on reserve or something like that. Like temporary reserve or something like that. Taj Brooks made the roster as I expected. Lucas Patrick is our starting right guard, which is bad. Jalen Rivers is the backup, so I know he's the backup tackle. Okay, I was kind of hoping that Jalen Rivers could maybe swing in and take over that right guard spot, but right now it's going to be Lucas Patrick, and if it's not going to be him, it's going to be Cody Ford. So one of these days we're going to have a good offensive line, but we just can't seem to get all 5 positions locked down at once.
Okay, and one day we're going to be forced to not draft a quarterback in the draft, but yeah, here we are. I think we drafted a quarterback in every single draft since 2021.
Oh. Okay, so actually, here's a pretty notable name that apparently we waived a little bit late, as in like about an hour and a half ago or so. But there is one name that's actually kind of notable that the Bengals cut, and that's Cordell Volson.
Oh.
He was you might not know who he is, Mikey, but he was our.
I know who he is because I play Madden. So yes, I do.
Okay, well there you go. He was our starting. He was our starting left guard last year. Former 4th round pick, and at one point people thought he was going to be really good. But he had a really bad year last year. Like him and Alex Kappa both were trash last year, and Kappa's already been cut. Now Cordell Volson's also injured. I'd imagine he's probably not gonna get picked up anywhere with that injury, so I think the Bengals might be able to get him, like, kind of sneak him onto the practice squad. and then like use one of those veteran designations on him, and then protect him. So if I had to bet, that's probably what they're planning on doing with Cordell Volson.
Hey, Kyle, fun fact. Do you know who the first guy that was signed after the season to an actual NFL contract and not those practice squad deals? You know who the first player to get signed was?
Who's that?
It was Alex Kappa.
Yeah, no, I did hear he got signed. So, good for him.
He was like the first guy signed this offseason.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was rooting for Alex Kappa, more than just because he's the Bengals. He was a Bengals player. But I really like Alex Kappa's a good dude. Like, I really hope he works out wherever he goes. It's just it clearly wasn't like when the Bengals first brought Alex Kappa in, it's like, okay, that's a really great pickup, and he did hold that position down for a couple of years, but he got hurt and he was just kind of never the same again after he got hurt. So it was unfortunately about time to move on there.
Interesting.
By the way, catch up on some of these comments. So Daniel Barry says, "Happy Tuesday." What's going on, Daniel Barry? And then we got Jeff asking, "Did Ritter even get a fair shot?"
Yes, and he blew it 3 times.
Well, no, he didn't get a fair shot. We were just talking about this earlier, but he was never going to get a fair shot. Like he was like, I think everybody knew that he wasn't really brought in as competition for Jake Browning. He was brought in as an insurance policy in case Jake Browning gets hurt or if they get like a really great trade deal for Jake Browning. But Desmond Ridder was never really brought in to I don't think anybody was actually expecting Desmond Ridder to for the Bengals to get rid of Jake Browning in favor of Desmond Ridder. Like I don't think anybody had any expectation of that. And I think even Desmond Ridder didn't have any expectation of that because you could tell that, as obviously not great as Desmond Ridder was at times in his career in Atlanta, he wasn't as bad as the tape that he put out for the Bengals preseason. And I think part of the reason is because I think he knew that he was just a body and there wasn't really hardly any chance that he was going to make the team. So I don't think he really tried all that hard. So we already knew this, but the Browns traded Kenny Pickett to the Raiders.
Man.
So that means Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders are both making the roster.
Yeah, Gabriel was listed as QB2, Shadur QB3, Joe Flacco QB existence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing in Cleveland, but
Bruh, the Browns are like the only team I could ever imagine to have 3 quarterbacks where their name value is great, but their talent is so-so. I'm going to say so-so for now because Gabriel and Shadur haven't really played in the NFL yet. I mean, yeah, they played preseason, but preseason stats don't count. Like, if they did count, Cam Little would have the record for the longest field goal in NFL history, but they don't. So, yeah.
Interesting. There's so many goddamn flies in my house right now. I'm gonna
don't hit
murder
the flies.
one of them.
They'll bite you.
I will kill them.
Okay.
All right. So I'm looking at the Steelers list of cuts right now, and some of them kind of actually stand out a little bit to me. And you know why? Because a bunch of them are former Bengals. Like, did we do this weird reverse thing where the Steelers are now trying to mimic the Bengals as far as team building because they just keep signing all these former Bengals?
Hey, Atlanta does that every single offseason. And
yeah,
but claim that we suck, but you have to take all of our players.
But it used to be sort of the other way around where people would claim that the Bengals are trying to mimic the Steelers' way of building a team. But now it's they just sign all of our old players.
Man, it goes back to Bobby Hayman.
So one guy who didn't play for the Bengals, but was a guy who I was kind of hoping the Bengals might draft, DeMarvin Leal, got cut. So clearly I was not right about him. Dominique Davis is another guy who I'm a little surprised didn't end up working out. Max Sharping, there it is, you motherfucker. All right. Max Sharping, former Bengal, kind of like one of those swing. He was a starter, but he was the 6th starter on offensive line because he kind of swung wherever needed starting, but he wasn't actually a real starter. Trey Sermon got cut. Um, let's see. Oh, Mikey, you got cut.
What?
Yeah, it says right here, Mikey got cut. Oh, I'm sorry. It says Mikey Victor. You clearly not you. So
Yeah, it's okay.
that was a joke about the Saints losing a lot.
What?
Because his name is Mikey Victor, and I'm like, well, that can't be you.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. I mean, but man, Isaiah Foskey, bruh. Like, dang, bruh.
I'm so okay. Whatever. Logan Woodside, another former Bengal, who got cut by the Steelers. I didn't even realize he was on the Steelers.
He was on the Saints for whatever reason.
Because he's just all over the place, I think.
So like they literally said, Saints signed Logan Woodside. I look it up and he's on the Steelers, and it's like, bro, what? Stop lying to me.
Fair enough.
I hate liars.
Oh, look at that. Jalen Milroe made a team. Maybe he's not as bad as you thought.
Okay, everyone knew he was going to make the team, bro.
Juju Brents got cut.
Good to know.
Former second-round pick for the Colts. So, and just a couple of years ago, too. Like, you know, it's one thing when a former second-round pick gets cut, like, way into their career, but he was just a couple of years ago.
Bro, the Saints cut a second-round pick that we drafted 2 years ago, too, today.
Who's that?
Isaiah Foskey.
Oh, that's what you were talking about earlier. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, so that's very, you know, odd when that happens. So
it makes me sad.
That it does kind of suck because, you know, you're basically admitting that was a big swing and a miss when you cut him that quickly.
But the thing is, I was super high on Isaiah Foskey. Nobody was higher on Foskey than I was. I had him going in the first round a couple years ago. But now he wants to come here and suck all over the place.
So what you're saying is nobody was wronger than you about Isaiah Foskey.
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I admitted I was wrong with Derek Carr. I admitted I was wrong with Dennis Allen. I admitted I was wrong on Foskey. I admitted I was wrong on who else was I wrong on? I don't know.
A lot of people probably.
Jay Kaner, I was wrong on him too.
Eli Apple,
I was never wrong on. In fact, I was dead right. I was right on Eli Apple.
No, you were wrong on Eli Apple. He was a very good.
I was 110% right.
He was a very good backup option for us.
For you, maybe, but for us, not.
Well, we went to the Super Bowl, so.
Okay, and we won the Super Bowl. What's your point?
What is that? That has nothing to. I was talking about with Eli Apple, first of all.
Okay,
and I was talking about the Eli Apple situation. I wasn't bragging.
Okay, and Eli Apple is the reason, or was part of the reason that you lost that Super Bowl. So,
yeah, you're not wrong there. I mean, you kind of are.
No, I'm not.
Because, but like you're kind of not. Like he definitely made like a really bad play at one of the worst possible times in that Super Bowl. But at the same time, like if the offensive had actually done their fucking job, then we would have won that Super Bowl. Like the defense played really well in that Super Bowl. They just didn't get it done in the end.
If Eli Apple was this GOAT corner that you think he is, he would have not got cooked by Cooper Kupp.
I didn't say he was a GOAT. I said he was, you know, better than the reputation that he had.
No. You said Eli Apple was the Darrelle Revis of this
generation. No, you're right. I did say that because I was, you know, not 100% serious about that. But I did say that. You're right. I did say that.
Don't lie, bro.
Yeah, I don't think you should be reading too much into me saying stuff like that, but I did actually literally say that. Yeah, you are correct. I did say he was the GOAT multiple times. You're not wrong.
The amount of stuff that you put in my chats and in Who Dat Davis's chats or whatever his name was.
You are incorrect, Jeff. The quarterback who is the QB3 who has sold the most jerseys in league history is definitely Tim Tebow.
I looked it up and it said RG3, but I think it's because I put QB3 and it thought the name 3. I don't know.
Well,
I know RG3 is definitely not QB3.
Well, you were looking up AI, right? You know what? You know. For on that note, let's ask ChatGPT. Who
I asked Google.
What?
And I asked Google, and Google is stupid. So.
Well, nobody likes Google. I'm going to ask ChatGPT partially because I have a subscription to ChatGPT, so I just have access to the better model. So, who
Well, if he's not
has
Shador, it's definitely gonna be Shador when he
as
retires.
the third quarterback on the depth chart has sold the most jerseys in NFL history? Okay, you're asking an interesting and tricky question. Which NFL quarterback, who was the third quarterback on his team's depth chart, ever sold the most jerseys in NFL history? The answer, Tim Tebow. Boom!
Congratulations, you want a cookie?
I do, actually.
Okay.
So according to this, during his rookie year in 2010 with the Broncos, Tebow was initially a backup, essentially the third quarterback behind Kyle. Okay, no. Well, I don't know. Maybe that does count, actually. But behind Kyle Orton and Brady Quinn, despite limited playing time, Tebow set an NFL rookie draft record for jersey sales and maintained the top-selling jersey throughout that season. So that's kind of cheating a little bit because it's like because Tim Tebow ended up being the starter in Denver. But to be fair, he probably was. You could definitely say he was the third string behind Kyle Orton and Brady Quinn at the time he broke that record. So that's maybe fair.
Yeah, I mean,
I was talking about with like the Patriots, but I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jake Hayner's definitely not on that list.
Well, let's ask ChatGPT. Is Jake Hayner on that list? Searching the web. I couldn't find any credible information suggesting that Jake Hayner has been a top-selling jersey.
Exactly. The only people that own the Jake Hayner jersey is his family members.
What if I own a Jake Hayner jersey, Mikey?
Then I would call 911 because you have to be a psychopath.
I'm gonna buy one.
Bro, I've called 911 before. Don't think I can't.
Let's see. $169. So I'm not gonna buy a Jake Hayner jersey. I'm not gonna spend $169 on a joke. That's not happening.
You would probably be better flushing that money down the toilet than spending it to Jake Hayner.
I wonder if I can get one from like China that's cheap or something like that.
China has everything now.
Yeah, I'm honestly like this. When I was in college, I bought this Giovanni Bernard jersey, and I got that from China because I was a poor college student who couldn't actually afford anything. But I really wanted a Giovanni Bernard jersey, so I got one for like $25 from China.
Bro, that's crazy.
Oh wait, hold on. Here's one. I can get it. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's not Jake Hayner. Here's a Jake Hayner jersey for $60. I still don't quite think that's worth the joke, but that's more reasonable. Let's see. On DHgate, I can get it for $40. Now that might be worth the joke. Tomorrow when I get paid.
Okay.
You know, what would you do if on the next episode I showed up wearing a Jake Hayner jersey?
I would burn a Joe Burrow jersey.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Don't you like Joe Burrow?
I do, but if you like Jake Hayner, I can't like the same thing.
I didn't say I like Jake Hayner. I just said I might buy his jersey.
Nah. If you wore a Jake Hayner jersey, I would have you arrested. Right. Because we don't even like saying that name around here. And the thing is, I remember, I'm not going to throw out his name, but there was this one guy who I would always stream. Shout out to Dolph Jackson. I would always stream with him. And bruh, there was this one guy. I'm not going to say his name because then stuff happens. He was the biggest Jake Hayner fan I've ever seen. Like, it was even before Spencer Rattler was on the team. This man was saying how Jake Hayner was the future of the Saints. It's like, bro, like, okay. And at that time, I was like, okay, maybe. But no. He started one game. That was enough. He literally did the Ian Book speeder.
Well, rest in peace to Jake Hayner's career. So we... let's see. How long have we been at this? We've been at this for a pretty decent amount of time at this point, right? We probably need to go ahead and move on.
Can we talk about Spencer Rattler before we forget?
All right, yeah. Go ahead and talk about Spencer Rattler real quick, but we do need to go ahead and move on because we're gonna talk about our power rankings, and we're also gonna do floor ceiling predictions for every team. So
well, a lot of people were wondering who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints, Rattler or Shuck, and I think Spencer Rattler ended up being the name the starter, and I think I absolutely agree with that decision. It's nothing against Shuck. It's just like I feel like it's easier to put in Shuck later if the team's not doing well. I think it's easier to do that than it is to just start Shuck and then bench him later down the line. I think it'll be easier to put in Shuck later on, and plus Shuck. The thing that bothered me the most is he panicked way too much. Like, to the point where he was throwing the football to Cesar Ruiz. And it's like, bro, come on, you can't be panicking like that. I know Cesar Ruiz, for some reason, keeps on trying to get you killed, but you can't be throwing the ball to Cesar Ruiz, man.
Maybe his thought process is maybe Cesar Ruiz might be better off if he switched to tight end. So he's trying to, politely encourage him to do so.
But still, it's like, bro, you know the amount of times that we've had plays that only lasted 2 seconds because the ball's already out of bounds. It's like, come on, Chuck, you got to do better. And look, I'm gonna have faith in Kellen Moore because Kellen Moore we trust. So hopefully this pick works out. But we'll see.
I will say, as far as well, you know what? I'll talk about that here in a minute because we need to go ahead and move on to the power rankings before we just start going way too far down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to go ahead and put up my power rankings, so there's my power rankings. I don't know, Mikey, if you have the thing up, bro. Do you have our stream anywhere?
Yeah, I have it up.
So you see the power rankings there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So there's my power rankings. These are what we call in the business good power rankings. Because these are correct. These power rankings are correct. Now I'm going to show you guys. Now you can see. Let's put that back up. Now, so you guys can see my power rankings here. Okay, right? So we're going to put these power rankings up. And now I'm going to switch them to some incorrect power rankings. Because, Mikey, you have some explaining to do.
Okay, Ben, I'm ready to explain everything.
Okay. So I don't even know where to begin here. You're channeling some serious Brandon Perna energy, I think. Are you trolling?
What?
Because you've got the Browns at number 13.
I like what they did this offseason. I think they have a solid team. I think
they don't have a quarterback. Their quarterback situation's almost as bad as the Saints.
No, it's not.
Almost.
No, the Saints have a way better quarterback situation.
The crazy thing is, you could make that argument because, there's a young, name-driven quarterback on the Saints, who ended up getting drafted way later than some original projections had him going, who is actually currently the starter for the Saints, and he's developed a little bit more than Shadur has for the Browns. So Spencer Rattler is y'all's Shadur. The difference is, Spencer Rattler has developed enough to the point where he's been trusted with taking over the team. Tyler Shuck and Dylan Gabriel are more or less the same player. And then do you guys have another quarterback?
What?
Do you guys have another quarterback?
No.
Okay, so, they got Joe Flacco, so they got a little bit more insurance policy than you guys do. But, so, I just don't understand. Okay, so first of all, what the hell have the Browns done this offseason that makes you think that they are a playoff team, frankly?
They had a good draft.
Not that good.
They had a good draft.
Not so good that they're suddenly going to be a good football team out of nowhere.
Jerry Jeudy was a freaking Pro Bowler with freaking Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson and whoever. So now if you give him
Jerry Jeudy's a good player.
Remember, Joe Flacco was in the playoffs a couple years ago with the same Browns team.
Well, first of all, I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be starting all year.
Well, even if he doesn't, they have a great option in Shador and a not so great option in Dylan Gabriel. Let's see if they go the great route.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my power rankings, and you'll see what my opinion of the Browns is.
You have them as the worst team. I already saw your power rankings.
Yeah, exactly. The number 32. I think they're worse than the Titans. I really do. Like I don't see the vision with the Browns this year. I just don't. It feels like tanking because their quarterback situation's abysmal. Like it feels like tanking on purpose. That's what the Browns feel like to me right now.
I thought that was tanking. You lose on purpose.
No, I guess you're right. I guess that is what tanking is. Most of the time, teams aren't actually tanking, and they just get called tanking. This is. I actually think they're tanking. Because the Browns are dumb, and I think they've tanked before, and I think they're doing it again right now. So you've got the Dolphins at number 32. Now I'm not gonna. I don't think that one's the one that I'm not gonna bully you for that one. I got other things I want to bully you over, right?
Okay.
But I've got the Dolphins at 27. So I mean, like, I don't think the Dolphins are going to be good. I don't think they're the worst team. But you know, it is what it is. We'll get back to the Dolphins here in a second. Let's see. What was the other one that I had a big problem with? Oh yeah, you've got the. I know that's a pretty good spot for the Saints. I mean, I think the Saints are a little worse than what you... Didn't you have the Saints at 32 the last time we did this?
I did, but then I decided to change my mind because I'm biased and I can do that.
You've got the Jets at 15.
I did.
Why?
I don't even know.
You've got the Cowboys at number 9. What are you smoking?
All right. So, look.
You got the Commanders, who were like your pick to win the Super Bowl at 17.
What?
You got the Commanders at 17.
Okay, I had the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, first of all, but yeah, the Commanders, I had them. Look, I go by the saying, just because you finish with a better record than someone does not make you the automatic better team. Like, sometimes that does. But, like, if you have a team, right, and you got to go, and if you get injured a lot, and if you just get beaten up every week, and if you just play against the best competitions, obviously you're probably not going to win. But then if you have like two other teams, right? I mean, shoot, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys a couple years ago. Like, upsets happen.
In 1 week, yes. But I think by definition, if you have your record is an indication of, at the end of the season, of how good of a team you are. Like, yeah, injuries happen, but depth matters. Like, there are teams that have a lot of injuries happen all the time that end up being pretty good. Now, maybe whoever wins the Super Bowl isn't an indication of who was definitely the best team all year that year. But I would say that the records at the end of the season are a pretty good indication of who was a good team and who was a bad team.
Look, I just go by what I see and, like, the rosters, and I feel like other than Justin Fields, I'm still iffy on Justin Fields, but I think the Jets have an overall solid team. Like, top 15 ain't crazy. It's not like they're top 10 or anything. And the Cowboys, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but the reason I think they're top 10 is because I feel like, Dak Prescott fully healthy and CeeDee Lamb, I think that combination could do.
And potentially no Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Like, what'd you say?
Micah Parsons is BS anyway. It's not even that good. He's like the 32nd best pass rusher of all time. Or no, in the league right now. He sucks, dude.
What the fuck? You really are just trying to channel Brandon Perna, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. I've already explained to you my thoughts about the Jaguars. I already know you think the Jaguars are going to be good, so I won't push back on you too hard. I mean, I don't think they're going to be that good, but you seem to, so whatever. But I'm still surprised that you got the Jets really high, and the Jets are like a bottom, 7 team for me.
I mean, look, the Jets, I think, could be like a team where Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. But I think they'll be like on like the brink of it. You know, I think the AFC East is weaker. Like I think the Patriots could improve. I think the Dolphins are going to suck. But the Bills obviously run that thing. So I think all you got to do is at least be number 2 in that division, and you can maybe get it.
Okay.
I don't think they will, but I think you can be on the brink if you're at least number 2 in the AFC.
I don't. But okay, so I have one more thing before we move on to doing the record predictions. You have the Denver Broncos, who you have talked up this offseason quite a bit, at 27.
Yes.
Like so I've got them at 13. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but you might need to agree with your own opinion. Like you've talked all offseason about how you think the Broncos are going to be good this year, and you've got them at 27.
Yeah, well, if you were watching my channel a few weeks ago, you would understand how I changed my mind on it.
Okay, well, fair enough. I guess I didn't. Why don't you enlighten everybody on the podcast then?
Because I just feel like that offense is a little overrated, bro. Like they have no run game. And before you give me J.K. Dobbins, I don't want to hear it. They have no run game, and the receivers other than Cortland Sutton is like whatever. And Bo Nix, can he still do it? And their tight ends. I don't even know who their starting tight end is. Well, they got Evan Ingram, but okay, whatever. He's not like a top 10 tight end in my eyes. So
I think Evan Ingram's a pretty damn good tight end. Like, you know, he was
solid, but like
he was
top 10.
he was a
Like,
bust in New York, but
tight end.
he was a bust in New York, but that's partially because it was New York.
Well, if we get preseason Evan Ingram this season, then I'm sorry, Bronco fans, you're going to be in for a rude awakening.
So Jeff says power rankings and records are very different, and
They
like,
are.
of course they are, especially this early in the season. But at the same time, like what you're ranking when you're doing power rankings, you're ranking like who is likely what's the power like ranking, I guess. What was a better way to put it? Like you're ranking teams in terms of potential power and potentially what they could do. Is basically like who's most likely to win the Super Bowl and who's least likely to win the Super Bowl. That's what the power rankings typically are supposed to mean. So I mean, like records are very different because records only really take the regular season into account, and we're not predicting records here. But we are predicting, who's got what it takes to go all the way and who does not have what it takes to go anywhere, Now, typically power rankings and records do tend to kind of fall like hand in hand. Like, for example, if Mikey is going to that's my power rankings. Hold on. If Mikey's going to predict the Browns to be the 13th best team in the NFL, then I fully expect him to predict the Browns to have somewhere in the vicinity of an above average record at the end of the season. So if you're not predicting a winning record for the Browns, why the fuck are you putting them at 13 in your power rankings?
Because I do have them having a winning record this season.
Well, at least you're consistent with the Browns, not with the Broncos, but you're consistent with the Browns.
I had the Broncos with a losing record too.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers was holding the Jets back, probably, and that's why I have the Steelers ranked as low as I do. Actually, almost as low as Mikey. Mikey's got him at 19. I got him at 20. So we do agree on that one. One team we definitely seem to completely agree on is the Seahawks because we have both of us have them at 16.
Hooray.
I think that might be the only team we agree on. Nope, we both agree on the Bills and the Chiefs, it looks like. I think that's it. So yeah, we agree on that. We agree on the Bills, Chiefs, and Seahawks. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll kind of use a combination of these power rankings. But let's talk about what our and we can kind of go a little quicker through this because we're already about 45 minutes into this episode. But let's talk about what you're thinking as far as a ceiling and a floor for each NFL team. So we'll kind of go based off of your power rankings here, but I'll definitely make my opinion about the power rankings heard. But you got the Dolphins as the worst team in the NFL. So what do you think their floor is, and what do you think their ceiling is?
I think their ceiling, if everything goes right, I think they go 9-8. Now their floor, I think is 5-12.
So why do you have them? Why do you have them at number 32 if you think the worst that they're going to go is 5-12? Because I guarantee you there are going to be teams worse than 5-12 this year.
No, I kept it a balance this season. I think worst team gets 5 wins.
When's the last time something like that happened?
I don't know, but I'm pulling for it because I hate seeing teams cry all the time. It's so annoying.
I actually think it's quite funny personally. As a fan of a team who has been in the like 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 win count at various times in my life, we all got to go through it. So suck it up. So me, as you can see, I think I got the Dolphins at 27. So I'm a little higher on the Dolphins than you. So I think I agree with your floor. I think the 5-12 for the Dolphins makes sense. Just because I don't really see what the hell the Dolphins are doing right now that leaves me excited at all. Like there was a time when I was really high on Tua Tagovailoa in the NFL, and I'm not saying I'm completely out on Tua. I think it's about time to admit that he's going to be at best an average quarterback going forward in his career. But I think the ceiling for the Dolphins for me is like, if everything goes perfectly for the Dolphins this year, then I think 8-9, and maybe if like in some sort of like crazy ass scenario they like have a shot of making the playoffs. I don't think they would, even at the highest ranking that they could get. But it'd be like one of those things like with the Bengals. It's like, well, you remember those videos I was putting out last year at the very end of the season. I was like, hey, look, guys, I know it sounds crazy, but the Bengals could technically go 8-9 and make the playoffs. Like, here's the math. And the Dolphins are going to be a team like that this year, I think, but not in the same way as the Bengals, where it's like, hey, they should be winning. Why the fuck aren't they winning? With the Dolphins, it's like, well, they get lucky. Maybe something crazy could happen.
Maybe.
All right, so you got the Panthers at number 31.
I do.
I got the Panthers at number 25, so I'm higher on them than you are. But what do you think their over/under is?
I think their ceiling, if everything goes right, is 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
Their floor, darn it. Their floor, I think, is a tricky one. I could see it in a range. However, I think if everything goes right and they go back to how they were a couple years ago, I think their floor is like 3-14.
Yeah, I think I can actually agree with you on this one. Their floor being 3-14. So like if the Panthers end the season as the second worst team in the NFL, I want to make it clear I wouldn't be shocked. I currently would not rank them that in terms of power. I think Bryce Young looking like maybe he might improve a little bit. It seems like they got some things going on there in Carolina that could potentially work out. They might not. But I do think a floor of 3-14, like if the bottom falls out, they could be down in that 3-win range. So yeah, I agree with that. But I think for me that has them higher on the power rankings just because like I do think they could go 8-9 this year if everything works out for them.
Cool.
Jeff does well. I'm going to put that over. There we go. Jeff agrees with you that the Panthers will be last in the NFC South for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think they will. I think the NFC South is going to be more competitive this season, but unfortunately for Panther fans, I don't think it's going to work out in their favor.
I don't.
Well, too bad.
I don't. I think it's going to be the Bucks division again. Pretty.
It's going to be the Saints, but okay.
It's not.
It's
not. It's not.
It will.
It's not though.
though.
It's not.
And you'll see at the end of the season because I ain't joking either.
All right. So you got the Cardinals at number 30.
I do.
I have them at 21. So you're
Cool.
lower on the Cardinals than me, which is kind of surprising because I talk shit about the Cardinals all the time.
Cool.
But anyway, what's your high and low on them?
Okay, so the Arizona Cardinals, I think their ceiling is 9-8, and their floor, if everything goes bad, 4-13. If everything goes terrible.
Okay. You said their ceiling is 9-8.
Yeah, like, I don't think the Cardinals. I think they're literally just like a 9-win team. Like most, like they're either 8 or 9 wins. It's like they.
Okay. I would go as far as to say I think the Cardinals' ceiling is 10-7. I think if things actually work out for the Cardinals, they've got the talent to make things work. It's just like I don't think they have particularly good coaching. I don't believe in Kyler Murray. I'm ranking them at 21, and frankly, I'm being nice. Because I want to put them lower than that, but I'm giving them credit. Like maybe something does work out, but like I think at best they're looking at 10-7, and maybe they're like a surprise winning the NFC South. Most likely. NFC West. Sorry.
I would be like, man,
that'd be a big surprise. That'd be a big surprise.
That's like saying That's like saying if the Falcons were to win the Super Bowl. Like, bro, what? You can't be saying that in 2025.
Well, I think maybe a little more realistic that the Falcons would win the Super Bowl than that the Cardinals would win the NFC South.
Honestly, I think it's more realistic that to the Cardinals winning the NFC South than the Falcons winning the Super Bowl.
Okay. Well, you see, the difference is you're like talking trash. I'm not. Okay. So you got the Titans at number 29.
I did.
I've got them at number 31. So we do agree that the Titans are bad, just varying levels of bad, it seems. What's your over under on them?
My ceiling for the Titans is 8-9. If Cam Ward ends up being a pretty good rookie, I think they go 8-9 as their ceiling. And the floor for the Tennessee Titans, I think it's like the same as the Cardinals. I'm gonna go. I think they're gonna be better. I mean, if you even want to call it better, but I think their floor is gonna be the same as the Cardinals, 4-13.
Okay. I got their ceiling being like 6-11. And people think I'm supposed to love Brian Callahan, but I was never the biggest fan of Brian Callahan here in Cincinnati. I thought he held the offense back. Do what?
That's gonna hurt Brian's feelings.
Well, that's fine. I mean, he's probably a good person, but I never really was that high on him as an offensive coordinator here. So I don't really believe in anything that they're doing in Tennessee right now. I like Cam Ward, but it might have to be one of those like Baker Mayfield situations where he gets away from his first head coach and then gets better.
Cool.
So for me, my floor for the Titans is like 1-16.
Oh, wow.
My ceiling for the Titans is, like I said, 6-11.
You just couldn't give them that extra loss, could you?
Okay, look. It is really, really, really difficult to imagine a team losing all 17 games in an NFL season. It was hard. It was really hard back in the... What?
But it's not hard to imagine them losing 16 of them.
Well, it's been done before, twice. But it was back in the day. It was really hard. Like I remember before 2008, it was everybody was saying like there's never going to be an undefeated team in the NFL again, and there's never going to be a all defeated team in the NFL again. Because like 16 games, that's just too much variance. There's no way anybody's ever going to go 0-16. That's crazy. Never going to happen. And then the Lions did it, and then the Browns did it about a decade later. So clearly we were all wrong about that. But it does really seem like 17 damn games. These are NFL teams made up of NFL players. You telling me they can't get one game that they win unless it's like a complete train wreck and everybody hates each other? Like, that's the thing with the Titans. I think the Titans have good enough, like, I don't think people hate Brian Callahan. And I don't think that the Titans have, like, so much, like, dysfunction in the locker room or anything to result in not having one single game all year that they can't pull something out of, themselves and, like, at least walk away with some dignity on the season. Not that 1-16 is a lot of dignity, but it's better than not winning a single game.
Cool.
So you got the Patriots at number 28. And
I do.
I have the Patriots much higher at number 18. So that's another one that we heavily disagree on. Almost as much as the Cardinals, actually. Actually, I would say equally as much as the Cardinals. So why are you so low on the Patriots?
It's like with the Patriots, it's like, I don't know. They're just one of those teams where it's like, yeah, they improved in the off season, but I feel like they're going to be that team. They're going to be like how the Jets were a couple years ago when they brought in Aaron Rodgers, Hassan Reddick. They brought in lots of other guys, and everybody thought they were going to go 14-3, win Super Bowl or something. And yes, people were believing that. I think it's going to be one of those where it's like, yeah, I mean, they're just there. Like, I think they're not ready yet. That's basically what I'm trying to say. They're not ready yet.
Yeah, I agree. And so I put them at number 18.
Okay, and I put them where I want to put them because it's my damn rankings.
Well, no, you're allowed to have your opinion on the rankings. But the point I was making here was that I like pretty much everything you said, I pretty much agree with. I don't know if I quite think that people are too high on the Patriots because I haven't seen a whole lot of people being that high on the Patriots. But, like, I'm not, I guess what I'm saying is I'm not saying the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. I just think that, like Drake May kind of looked like he was, maybe something to pay attention to a little bit last year. And I think that they're going to improve enough to at least make sure people have to think about them next year, especially with Mike Vrabel in tow.
I think they'll be a decent team.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I got them at 18. You got them at if you think they're going to be a decent team, why do you have them at 28? Because that's a bad team.
It's like I said, I think there's going to be more parity in the league this year.
Okay.
So, if they got to go at 28, so be it.
All right. You got the Broncos at 27. I think we already talked about this one. But, well, actually, before we get to that, so what's your ceiling and floor for the Patriots?
Ceiling, I think 7-10. Floor, 4-13.
Okay, so for me with the Patriots, I'm gonna go. I think the floor for them is like 6-11, but I think the ceiling for them, I'm gonna go like 10-7.
Cool.
Now we already talked about the Broncos, obviously, so we don't have to go back into like why we have the Broncos ranked where we have them. So let's just real quick do the ceiling and floor for them. What do you got?
Okay, my ceiling for them, I think is. I think their ceiling is 9-8. I think their floor is 6-11.
Okay. I'll be honest. I think the Broncos' ceiling is like 12-5.
Oh no!
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean I think the Broncos will go 12-5. I think if everything goes right for the Broncos, they could go like 12-5 this year. The one thing holding them back, I think, is Sean Payton.
Brother, that's the biggest.
I'm kind of joking about that. I just wanted to get your reaction.
Sean Payton proved you wrong, and you have to admit that.
I don't know if he did.
Okay, bro. Okay, yeah. Give the Broncos a worse coach than Sean Payton, and let's see them make the playoffs last year. Okay, good.
I don't know.
I'm not saying Sean Payton's the best coach of all time, but he's definitely at least top 10.
Top 10 all time? There's no way.
Yes, there is a way. I know he's definitely a Hall of Famer. I know that.
I think there's a good chance that Sean Payton could take longer to get to the Hall of Fame than you think.
Okay, let's move on before I actually have an aneurysm.
Well, I'm not even saying because he's not a good coach. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because of like Bountygate, I feel like that could hurt his candidacy.
Man, Bountygate, Schmoutygate, man. I hope he rips all their heads off.
Okay, but we're not talking about what you hope happens. We're talking about what might actually happen. Look at the way baseball treated Pete Rose.
Have you ever thought about the NFL is different than the MLB?
It is, but I mean, the NFL is petty with stuff like that all the time. Like the only reason Brady is gonna easily be a first ballot Hall of Famer is because he's the GOAT.
But like, if you want
undisputably the GOAT.
Tom Payton wasn't even the guy that was constructing it.
But I guess what I'm also saying though is like I feel like Bill Belichick is going to take longer than people expect to get to the Hall of Fame.
He's gonna be dead by the time he gets in.
That's what I'm saying. He very well might be, and it's kind of the same with Sean Payton. Like if he ever does make the Hall of Fame, it's possible he doesn't. He almost certainly will as like a veteran guy someday in the future. But like I really don't think that Sean Payton is got as strong of a case as you think he does. Maybe for you, and maybe you can make the logical argument that he should, but I'm saying I don't know if he actually does.
No, bro. No, he should make the Hall of Fame. In my eyes, he's a lock. But
Okay, so I did not give my. Oh wait, no, I did for the Broncos. I said they were their ceiling is 12-5. I didn't give my floor though. My floor for the Broncos. I think if things don't work out, it could be like a 7-10 type of season.
That's actually the record I have them going.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's a worst case scenario, but fair enough. So you got the Raiders at number 26. And I'm going to be honest. I think that's absolutely friggin' insane. How could you think the Raiders are that bad? I have them at 23 personally.
I think they have a high ceiling, but I think it's one of those things where it's like the Raiders. They're just like.
I was joking. I also think they're like I've got them at 23. It's not that far off what you got.
Oh. Well, I don't know when you're joking or not. You know I'm dumb.
I figured it'd be a little obvious, but I don't know. Like, go ahead and what's your floor and ceiling for the Raiders?
I think if everything goes right for the Raiders, like if Pete Carroll comes in and puts the magic on Geno Smith again, I think they can go 10-7. I think that's your ceiling. The floor, however, on the other hand, I think is probably 5-12.
That's funny because I have the Raiders ranked higher than you do, and yet I feel that 10-7 is asking a lot for the Raiders. So for me, the Raiders' ceiling is like 8-9.
I think they could be good this year,
but I also feel like their floor is a little bit higher. So like the Raiders, I'm almost positive are going to win somewhere between 6 and 8 games this year. So like they're for me, their ceiling is 8-9 and their floor is like 6-11. So like I don't really feel like there's much variance with the Raiders this year. They're going to be like a okay-ish team, but not really anything of any interest.
Cool.
Okay, so you've got the Giants at 25.
I do.
And I have the Giants at... That's the wrong button. I have the Giants at 28. So you're a little higher on them than I am. Why is that?
Well, I think it's, with the veteran leadership Russell Wilson has, I know he's not the number one leader that everybody would have, but I think the Giants improved, man. I think the Giants have probably the best defensive line in football. I think, their secondary massively improved with guys like Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland. Like, I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff run, but I'm saying I think they could at least be on the bubble this year.
I hope you're right to some extent because I would love. I'm first of all, I want to make it clear. I'm very mad at the Giants right now for cutting Tommy Cutlets. Like, come on, you can't cut Tommy Cutlets.
But they did though.
You can't do that. It's illegal.
There's no restrictions.
Okay, but anyway. You can't cut the man with the best nickname in the NFL. It's just not allowed. But anyway, they did. But I really do hope Russell Wilson works out for them. Why? Because I want to rub it in the Steelers' face.
I don't think the Steelers fans are going to care that much.
I don't think they would either. Like I don't. I think they would literally not. I mean, I think you'd probably see urinating tree make like a funny video like, Russell Wilson's really good on the Giants and I'm being angry about it. Like he'd probably do that, but he'd probably have to fake most of it because I really don't think the Steelers fans care about Russell Wilson hardly at all.
Yeah, because, I mean, shoot, they even made the playoffs with Russell Wilson, so I don't think they really care about Russell Wilson like that.
Yeah.
I think they probably cared more about losing Justin Fields than they did losing Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Well, anyway, for me, I got the Giants. Their ceiling at. I'm not high on the Giants at all. Like their ceiling for me is like 6-11. Floor. If the bottom falls out, they could go like 2-15. Honestly.
Yeah, I think their ceiling's 8-9, and I think their floor is 6-11.
Okay. All right. So you got the Colts at 24. We might need to speed this up because we're already an hour and 15 minutes into this. But you got the Colts at 24. What's your floor and ceiling there?
Colts. Okay. Colts, I think their ceiling is... They got Daniel Jones, so their ceiling 7-10. Their floor is 0-17. Now I'm playing with you. I just hate Daniel Jones' guts. Their floor is actually like 3-14, to be honest with you. I'm that low on them.
Yeah, I'm way lower than you though, because I have them ranked at number 30 on my power rankings, and a lot of that is because of Daniel Jones. So, for me, when you say like their ceiling is 7-10 because of Daniel Jones, I'm like, wait, do you actually like Daniel Jones? Because for me, the Colts ceiling because of Daniel Jones is like 5 wins, like maybe. I
made the 7 wins. I thought Richardson was going to be the starter.
Well, okay, if you thought Richardson was going to be the starter, then that's one thing. But
I don't think Jones is going to start the entire season. Okay.
That's not necessarily a good thing though, because like that just means there's going to be instability.
Bro, I would rather a dead man be a quarterback than Daniel Jones.
It's probably not entirely untrue, but again, for that reason, 5-12 is like my ceiling for the Colts, and let's call it like 2-15 is the floor. They'll win a couple of games. Like Daniel Jones will run around enough to win a couple of games.
Interesting.
All right, so the Atlanta Falcons, your favorite team.
Excuse you?
You've got them ranked at 23.
Yes, I do.
I've got them ranked at 19, much higher than you. So, what's the floor and the ceiling there?
The Atlanta ceiling is 9-8. They're not going to make playoffs this season. They know that. They're going to say they're winning the Super Bowl, but deep down in their hearts, they know they're not doing nothing this season, or any other season, or any other season. So yeah, their ceiling's gonna be 9-8 forever, and their floor, I'll say 2-15.
Well, I agree with half of that. I think the Falcons' ceiling is 9-8, but I think their floor, I guess because, floor could just mean... So, like, I guess if Michael Penix is just a complete disaster...
which he will be.
Okay. So, I guess if Michael Penix is a complete disaster, I could see them, like, bottoming out around, like, 3 or 4 wins. I'll say 4 to be conservative. But so 4-13 is where I think their floor could be. But that's only if Michael Penix just is absolute fucking trash.
Cool.
All right, so next, you've got the Saints at number 22, and yet you think they're going to win the division.
I do.
You must really hate the NFC South as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we all gotta suffer.
According to Jeff, your favorite day is 3/28.
It is. I love March 28th.
Yeah. Which in Europe is written as 28/3.
I love Europe then. I wish I lived in Europe now.
So what's your ceiling and floor for the Saints then?
Our ceiling is going to be 10-7.
No.
Why? Because you can go suck it. And I think the floor for the New Orleans Saints is 6-11.
All right. So I want to emphasize that I was being nice to the Saints, right? I was being nice to the Saints, and I have them at 29.
But that's because you're wrong.
Well, a lot of people have the Saints at 32 in their power rankings right now.
And they're wrong too.
Okay. So my ceiling for the Saints this year, I think, is
I agree with you.
7-10.
Bro, shut up.
I think the Saints ceiling is 7-10 because like you ain't gonna get anywhere without a quarterback.
That's rather the truth.
He's not, but so your for me your floor is like 2-15, honestly.
What?
I do, like I said, worst case scenario. Like if things go as bad for the Saints as they possibly could go, that's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, I'm smoking some.
I think so. Yes.
And
Because
I think you're
but
smoking
you got
some.
the
You think you're gonna go.
you got the Jets at number. You got the Browns at number 13. Yes, you're smoking
That's
something.
more realistic than the Saints being the worst team in the league.
I didn't say they were going to be the worst team in the league. Although I said if they bottom out, they could be. But I have the Browns as the worst team in the league.
Okay, and I have the Browns as the 13th.
I know you do, which is insane.
Okay.
So anyway, let's move on. You got the Vikings at number 21.
I do.
What's your floor and your ceiling for their record? And
Floor 9-8.
Okay.
Ceiling is if JJ McCarthy's just so bad, I think their ceiling is probably gonna be like 5-12.
You mean their floor?
I meant their, what I meant. Their floor 5-12.
Okay, now did you rank them there because of trying to get one over on Jeff? Is my question.
What?
Because I've got them at number 8.
I'm gonna save it for another time. Okay.
Okay, so let me be clear. I believe in JJ McCarthy. Like I think he could be a good quarterback.
Okay, what were you saying?
I believe in JJ McCarthy. I think he could be a good quarterback. And if JJ McCarthy is a good quarterback, then the Vikings have a really good roster and they could totally like make some noise this year.
Okay.
I really think he's an upgrade from Sam Darnold. And they did pretty well with Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Okay. Did you give your floor and ceiling for the Vikings?
9-8, 5-12.
Okay, so for me, the Vikings ceiling is like 13-4.
Okay.
13-4.
Okay.
Okay. That's if everything goes perfectly. I don't think it will, but if everything goes perfectly, I think the Vikings could have like a really big, strong 13-win season. I do think they'll win the NFC North. Now, I think their floor. It really depends on JJ McCarthy. Like if he gets hurt again, or if he's bad, or whatever. Like the Vikings have the widest variance in the NFL to me. So like I got their ceiling at like 13-4. I got their floor at like 6-11. Honestly.
Okay.
So like at least I'm not saying the Vikings are definitely going to be amazing. I think they've got really good chance to be. Which for me is what power rankings about. Power rankings for me are about like who's got the best chance to be really good.
Yeah.
Which is why I have the Saints very low, because I don't think, while the Saints obviously could theoretically in a crazy alternate universe be really good this year, I think the chance of that happening is pretty low.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. You've got the Bears at number 20.
Oh, do I? I guess I do.
You do, and personally, I think that's absolutely insane. Like you're ridiculous. It makes no sense because I got them at
What?
22.
Are you joking?
I am joking, of course, because I got them
Oh,
at
God,
22.
I said what?
Yeah, go ahead and give your floor and ceiling there.
I think the Bears' floor, if Ben Johnson can turn the Bears around, I think their floor maybe 10-7, but I think their ceiling is 6-11.
I wouldn't go that far on their ceiling. I agree. I agree with the floor. 6-11 sounds about right. But I think the Bears' ceiling, for me, is I'm really massaging 9-8. Like, I don't, like I don't really see a lot of what the vision is for the Bears. Like Ben Johnson could be a really good head coach, but I do think it'll take more than a year to implement his scheme.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Okay. All right. You've got the Steelers at number 19.
Oh, wow, really?
And I've got them at 20. So we actually kind of generally agree on the Steelers. What's your floor and ceiling there?
Their floor 10-7. I mean, no, their ceiling 10-7. Their floor 9-8.
No.
Yes.
No.
That's going to happen.
No.
Is it 10-7 9-8? You got to pick one.
No.
Too bad.
No. Okay, so
I'm
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I might. Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna turn it around on you. Okay. The Steelers' ceiling is 9-8 because of Mike Tomlin.
Let me guess. The floor is also 9-8.
No. No, their floor for me is God, a lot of things could go wrong for the Steelers this season. It really could. Like their floor is 5-12. Honestly, I'm not saying they're gonna go 5-12. I'm saying as much of a gamble as they're taking on Aaron Rodgers, they could go 5-12 this year. Like they really could. Now again, their ceiling's 9-8 because Mike Tomlin. Like they very well could just go 9-8 again this year because they're because the world hates me. But they ain't going no 10-7. We had this argument last year, Mikey. I'm pretty sure I won this argument.
About 11-6. And they almost
no, I know, but we had this argument about what record they were going to go, and I'm pretty sure I was right. Now I was not right about my prediction, but I was right that they weren't going to go 11-6.
Okay, that's technically not a prediction. You just assumed that.
My prediction was that you would be wrong.
Okay, and I was half correct.
No, you weren't. You were not correct. You can't be half correct.
Technically, if you think about it, they would beat the Bengals week 18. They would have been 11-6. So technically,
yes, I agree. If they would have done that, but they didn't do that, so you are definitionally wrong.
You're as happy you don't got to shake a New Orleans person's hand.
Well, actually, I think the happiest part was that I didn't have to spend the money on going to New Orleans, which I would love to go to New Orleans. I'm going to come to New Orleans at some point. I'll probably shake your hand when I get there. It's just at the time, I didn't have the money to take a trip to New Orleans. Now, I mean, not to dive too much into my personal life, but a lot of things have been going much better for me lately, so I might be able to take a trip to New Orleans. But I'm not going to do it because the Steelers went 11-6.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not going to force you to come into New Orleans, but just so you know, if the Steelers would have won that game, I would be like, okay, come on, you got to get your money up, bro. But no. I mean, if you do it, you do. If you don't, you don't. Okay. I'm not going to force you, not because the Steelers.
People think the Panthers are better than the Saints. Jeff thinks that's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, that's absolute. I can't imagine anybody who would say that the Panthers are better than the Saints. Wow, those people must just be smoking crack. Tell you
exactly. It's always like saying if the Bengals are better than the Saints. Like, who would ever say that?
Mikey.
What?
You know what you did.
Oh, did I?
Okay. So Uh, where were we? The Steelers. So Buccaneers, you got them in 18,
Yeah.
which is, I think,
The
silly,
ceiling,
but
the
okay.
ceiling is 8 and 9. Their floor is I don't know 4 and 13.
That's just not correct. So their ceiling is 12-5.
No.
And their floor is probably 8-9.
Oh, Mike Evans falls off a cliff.
Well, okay, if Mike Evans falls off a cliff, then I might reassess.
No, I'm playing, but I hope he falls off the football cliff.
Okay. Let's see. We got who you got next? You got the okay. So you really gonna have to explain to me because like your explanation before was not sufficient. But
What?
you have the Washington Commanders, who was your pick to win the NFC at 17.
I made that at the time of Terry McLaurin not being there potentially.
So where would you put them now?
Now I'll probably put them in the top 10 probably. But the only reason I
I don't
hesitated to
think
put them in
Terry
the top
McLaurin
10.
makes that much of a difference. Like he makes a
But
big.
it's like, bro, I don't trust Debo Samuel being a number 1 receiver anymore.
Okay, I guess, but like I just think like with Jaden Daniels, there's no way they could. They're like, frankly, I think with Jaden Daniels, there's almost no chance they don't make the playoffs.
But yeah, it's like the thing. I mean, would the 17 team make the playoffs, or is it just 16? Oh,
No, it's 14.
Oh, 14. Okay, so,
Yeah.
but no, because it's like because I made my predictions like a week ago. And at the time, Terry McLaurin didn't sign. Like Trey Hendrickson didn't even sign. Like it didn't really impact how I felt about Bengals though. But but like with Terry McLaurin, I feel like he's just so valuable to that offense. Because if you remember, I think I had him winning Offensive Player of the Year, but that's before all this stuff went on. It's like
Yeah, fair enough.
so now I'll probably have them in like at number 8 or something like that, or like maybe even number 2 or something like that.
Jeff's got a good point here, by the way. We definitely absolutely should come back to this in January, or maybe like February after the Super Bowl. We should come back to these power rankings. So I'm going to task because I'm terrible at remembering things. I'm going to task Mikey and Jeff. And I will try to remember myself as well, but you guys, please remind me to come back to these in January.
Okay, bet. I don't forget nothing. I still
Or-
remember when the Saints beat the Bengals 51-14.
We don't have to talk about that, you know.
Well, too bad.
I mean, we can just not talk about that, and that'd be better
Uh,
for my mental health.
That was a fun game.
It was
Anyway,
not a fun game.
too bad. Maybe not for you.
Okay, so next up, we've got one of the only teams that me and you actually agree on, and that is that we both agree that the Seattle Seahawks are the single most average team in the entire NFL. So are we in agreement that their ceiling is 9-8 and their floor is 8-9?
No.
Okay, I was just joking anyway, but oh wait, no shit, I didn't do so okay, rewind then. We got to do the floor and ceiling for the Commanders.
Yeah.
So you said now you'll have them somewhere in the top 10, but you just so whatever. But what's your floor and ceiling for them then?
I think their floor is 12-5. I think they're see. Did I say floor?
You said floor. That's pretty bold.
Okay. Well, if you're a Commander fan, I bet you wish your floor was 12-5, but no. I think their ceiling is 12-5, and I think their floor is 8-9.
I think I'm gonna say I think their ceiling is like 14-3. Their floor I think is 9-8.
Okay.
So I think it'd take a miracle for them to not have a winning season this year.
Interesting.
So okay, now let's move on to the Seahawks. What's your ceiling and floor for them?
I think their ceiling, if Sam Darnold is still the Viking Sam Darnold, I think they could go 11-6 as their ceiling.
Okay.
Their floor, I think, is like 7. Probably more 6-11 to be honest with you.
Okay. I think I can agree with their floor being 6-11. I'm gonna put their ceiling at 9-8. 9-8. But like with the emphasis that I think they're actually going to end up. Well, no, I guess if like everything goes perfectly for them, I guess they go like 10-7 or something like that. But like my prediction for their record is 9-8. I think they're going to go 9-8.
Cool.
So, all right. So next, we need to talk about the fact that you have the New York fucking Jets at number 15. We already talked about that a little bit earlier. So let's just do the floor and ceiling here.
Okay. I think the Jets' ceiling is 11-6. I think their floor is 6-11. What?
I think the Jets' ceiling, Mikey, is 6-11.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I predicted them going 8-9.
That doesn't make me what? Why would that make me feel what?
I don't know. I thought I might as well try it.
Okay, so I think the Jets' ceiling is 6-11. I think their floor is like 2-15.
Cool.
Okay, so you got the Jaguars at number 14, which I think is almost equally crazy. By the way,
What? No, I think the Jaguars have some good talent that they could probably even win that division.
I don't think that they're gonna do anything with it.
Bro, they made the playoffs literally 3 years ago.
The Bengals were in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Did we get to brag about that?
No, but what I'm saying is that
4 years ago.
when they fired Urban Meyer and brought in Doug Peterson at the time, like a year later, they're in the playoffs. So I'm like, why can't it happen again?
It could happen again. I'm not saying the Jaguars couldn't make the playoffs in any like universe ever. I actually like, so I'll go ahead and say my floor and ceiling. So my ceiling for the Jaguars honestly is like 9-8. And I mean, you could make the, I don't know how, you're not going to guarantee to make the playoffs at 9-8, but I think the Jaguars could go 9-8 and potentially make the playoffs, like, as a number 7 seed or something like that. But their floor to me is like 5-12. Because like I just like they're a mess.
I mean, messes could be cleaned up.
That doesn't mean they will be.
Okay.
Like if you got them at number 14, then you're like, oh, I think their mess is going to be cleaned up. Because if you got them at 14, you're basically putting your name on being like, this will be a playoff team.
They will.
Okay. All right. And then
ceiling 10-7, floor 6-11.
Next, I don't even want to dignify this, but I have to. I don't even want to dignify this next one, but I have to. And that's the fact that you've got the Browns number 13.
I do.
So what's your floor and ceiling, Mikey?
Their ceiling is 10-7, and their floor
No,
is...
it's not. No, it's not.
Their ceiling is 10-7, and their
not.
floor is 4-13.
No, it's not. No, good lord. The Browns' ceiling, like in a perfect world, is like 7-10. And their floor is like 1-16. Honestly, like I mean, like I you could even talk me into the floor of the Browns this year being 0-17. Honestly, you could talk me into it.
Nah, bro.
I think the Browns are just going to be horrendous this year.
I predicted them to make the playoffs.
I think they're trying to get Kevin Stefanski fired. Like, I think they're trying to give themselves a justification to fire Kevin Stefanski. I think that's what they're doing.
That's not very nice of them.
It's the Browns. They're very bad at making decisions about anything. Of course, it's not very nice of them. Okay, whatever. Anyway, Chargers. You got them at number 12. That's a lot more reasonable. I disagree, but we're not that far off. But like, it's a lot more reasonable than the Browns at 13. What's your floor and ceiling on the Chargers?
All right, so listen to this, right? The ceiling I got being 11-6, which I think was what they did last year. If Jim Harbaugh can still run that ship, their floor I got being 8-9. I think they're going to be one of those teams where it's like if they do terrible, I will be surprised, but if they do good, I
Yeah.
won't be surprised.
Well, I do like Jim Harbaugh. But I don't quite. I think they're going to take a bit of a step back from last year. So I think their ceiling's 10-7. And their floor. Honestly, I think their floor could be like 8-9.
Okay.
All right. Packers, you got them at 11. I got them a little bit higher at 9. But why don't you talk about that?
Packers, I think they're ceiling, and it's weird because I'm not really too high on the Packers, but I think I put them there because I feel like they have like a better team than other teams. But I won't be shocked if they miss the playoffs. To be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think their ceiling is 11-6, and their floor 7-10.
You know, honestly, I think I can pretty much agree with that. Like, I don't think I'd change anything about that prediction.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like I said, I got the Packers a little bit higher than you do, but not necessarily because we disagree about analysis. I think it's just ranking at that point.
Hooray.
So the Los Angeles Rams, I got them one spot higher than you, but or wait, no, I'm sorry, you got them one spot higher than I do. So you got them at 10, I got them at 11. But what's your what's your high and low on them?
Their ceiling, Rams. Stafford's coming back. They got Devontae Adams. So maybe the best, I think, is 12-5. Now, I think that's a high mark to reach, but I think if Stafford is still the old Stafford, I think 12-5 is their best.
Well,
now, their floor,
yes,
I think it's going to be 9-8.
Yeah, I got the Rams ceiling being 11-6 because I don't think that Matt Stafford is going to be the same old Matt Stafford
Hey, I
anymore.
hope the Rams are 3-14, but that's not my world, I guess.
Jeff's like, Kyle, you did invite him on your channel, so this is on you. Look, dude, you know what, Mikey's fun. I like Mikey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the Rams ceiling at like 11-6. Floor 8-9. You know, like it could not work out this year. Like they could not make the playoffs. I think they will, but
I hope you're right.
they could not.
I hope you're right. I hope the Saints whoop them whenever we play them this year.
Okay, you got the Cowboys at number 9. Why?
Yeah, that must have been an accident.
It had to have been.
Yeah, I think their ceiling's like 10-7, and their floor 6-11.
Do you want to like since you're like higher on the Commanders now? Do you want to just say like pretend you swapped the Commanders and the Cowboys then?
Yeah, sure. Like I don't even know what I was thinking when I put them there. To be honest, 'cause I'm not even high on the Cowboys like that, for real. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah.
Okay, so what's your high and low on them then? Since you're technically putting them at 17.
Yeah, the ceiling I had was a 9-8, and they're or no, I think their ceiling's 10-7 if everything goes right, obviously, and their floor is 6-11.
Okay. Yeah, I got them at 17. I'd say their ceiling for me, I could see 10-7 if everything goes perfectly, but their floor could be like, I mean they could bottom out this year. They really could. Like Dak could just completely like turn into a rotten pumpkin. And so I think they could go as low as like 5-12 this year. To be honest with you. Okay, so next we're getting into the top 8 now. So teams who are basically projected to, I guess technically projected to make it to the divisional round. So you got the Texans at number 8. What's your ceiling and floor on them?
Texans.
I got them at 12. So.
Yeah, I was fluctuating them, but I just couldn't justify putting them lower than some of the teams like the Rams, maybe not even the Packers. Like, I just couldn't justify putting them lower than that.
Yeah.
Texans, I think though their ceiling. I think they win like one playoff game and they probably get bounced. But I think their ceiling is probably uh oh maybe okay. So CJ Stroud goes to his rookie form. I think his ceiling's 11-6. Floor, I'll go 7-10.
Yeah, I think 7-10 sounds kind of wild to me. I think CJ Stroud's. I'm a little higher on CJ Stroud than you are. I think for me, the floor for the Texans is like 9-8. Um, Now their ceiling. I'm gonna even though I've got them at number 8, I'm gonna stick to their ceiling being like 11-6, maybe 12-5 in like a perfect universe. Um, but like just with like the Joe Mixon injury and the fact that he was such a huge part of their offense last year, and C.J. Stroud has been kind of inconsistent. Um, I don't see them in that like really super top tier of the NFL right now. They're like kind of right on the edge, and it could kind of reverse back for them this year, but it could work. I think it very well could work out for them. They have a decent amount of talent. Like
Maybe.
they've also got another highly injury prone running back in Nick Chubb, who at times has been amazing in his career. So you never know.
Rest in peace to Nick Chubb's career.
All right. So you got the 49ers at number 7, which is substantially higher than I have them, but not to like not the same as like the Browns. But you have the 49ers at 7. I have them at 15. So what's your high and low on them?
It's weird. I could literally see the 49ers either making the playoffs or being one of the worst teams in the league. It literally fluctuates. But the reason I put them at 7 is because I put them at their ceiling. I think their ceiling could be like 12-5 if Brock Purdy is not this system-made quarterback. However, I think their floor could be 5-12. It's literally going to be no in between in my eyes.
Well, technically, every team's ceiling is 17-0, and floor is 0-17.
Well, they ain't telling not to be that way.
Okay. I think that the 49ers will be one of those teams that'll be like hunting for a playoff spot but just won't make it in. Because, Brock Purdy's a big question mark for me too, but it feels like the script has kind of been lost in San Francisco. Like I'm just not entirely sure what they're really doing these days. That like if it with any real consistency, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So for me, their ceiling's like 10-7, but their floor is probably like, let's just call it 7-10. I think they're gonna be quite average this year. Maybe not quite as average as the Seahawks, but point being, it's gonna be a pretty uninspiring NFC West. And technically, I have the 49ers winning it, which I guess technically means I should have them higher than number 15 because that would put them in the playoffs. I just don't think that they're all that great.
I ain't the only one.
All right. So now we get to talk about the team that I really am excited to talk about, because you have them. We agree that the Bengals are one of the top teams in the NFL. I've got them one spot higher than you, but you got them at 6. So
You're biased.
I put them one spot higher than you, Mikey.
Nah,
Okay. So what's your high and low on the Bengals?
Bengals. Let's see if their defense decides to stop nosebleeds this season. I could see their ceiling being 12-5, maybe even 13-4, maybe even 14-3, depending on how that defense plays. Now that floor, I don't really think it's gonna be all that bad. I think your floor is 9-8. And there goes the camera.
Oh shit!
Hey,
Without being able to see it, you were correct, by the way. Oh, because you're looking in OBS, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't show on the thing because I had the power rankings up. But let me fix that real quick. All right. So yeah, Bengals. So you said ceiling is 12-5. What did you say the floor was?
9-8.
9-8. Okay. So um, you really might call me biased here with what I'm about to say.
If you say
But
something, no, I'm gonna hit you with this water bottle.
let me preface this with the fact that until yesterday, until like 4 p.m. yesterday, honestly, I probably would have ranked the Bengals around 15, 16 ish. Probably around 15 or 16. I would have ranked the Bengals yesterday, and then they re-signed Trey Hendrickson,
Oh wow.
which for me was the key. I've been saying this. I've been consistent with this. I've been saying this all off season. The key for me this offseason is re-sign. I wanted them to re-sign Trey over T. Higgins. Like I've also been saying all offseason they can do both. But if they had to pick, I wanted them to pick Trey. So they got Trey back. It's only for a year, but that's enough for this year, obviously. So here's the deal. Based on the results that we had last season, if you, I really do believe that with the work the Bengals did on the defense and also bringing Trey Hendrickson back, the Bengals defense almost certainly should improve. They also, in my opinion, they have a better like defensive schemer and play caller in Al Golden over Lou Anarumo this year, so I think that'll help. And I don't think that they're going to have like a top whatever defense, but I do think they're going to have probably a below average, but like number 18, 19, 20, defense in the NFL this year. And so, like you said, they're going to stop a nosebleed. I don't know if they'll do a whole lot more than that, but they'll stop nosebleeds, and that's all they really need to do. And if they had done that last year, then they would have gone 16-1. Like I ran through every single game. They would have gone 16-1 last year if the defense had been halfway decent, like at any point before like week 15, right? So my ceiling for the Bengals this year is 16-1. Now this is I'm not here to try to convince you. I'm not here to try to convince you that the Bengals are going to go 16-1. I'm making a point about what their potential is because of, because I do think the defense isn't going to improve. And the offense there's no reason to believe the offense shouldn't be better because the offensive line looks better. Lucas Patrick starting at right guard isn't great, but right guard was already kind of a big problem anyway. But we beefed up the weapons that Joe Burrow has to throw the ball to. Basically did everything right on offense except for bringing another right guard. On defense, we basically did everything right, except for bringing some secondary help. We needed some secondary help, but we did enough. We beefed up the linebackers, we beefed up the defensive line, and made sure to bring Trey Hendrickson back. And, the whole Shamar Stewart thing, like I said, makes sense if you bring Trey Hendrickson back. Well, they did, so now I think it definitely makes sense to bring Shamar Stewart in. So there's no reason to me that this defense shouldn't improve. I don't know by how much, but I think it should improve. And if it does, this offense will be enough to beat anybody. So, again, I'm not saying they're going to go 16-1, but their ceiling is 16-1. Now their floor is probably 9-8, honestly.
Yeah, it is 9-8.
I think their floor is 9-8, but their ceiling is 16-1. Jeff says the Bengals would have a bad defense, and that's possible, Jeff. Like the Bengals could have a bad defense, and it would still be better than last year. Like that's the part nobody's thinking about is like the Bengals could very well have a bad defense this year. That's a real possibility. They really totally could have a bad defense, verifiably bad defense, and it's still better than last year. That's how bad they were last year, right?
No, see about that.
I'm saying I think they will improve to some extent. But anyway, we've talked enough about the Bengals because we got other stuff to talk about. You had the Bengals at number 6. I had them at number 5, I believe. But by one spot, Mikey. I mean, like the difference in how we feel about the Saints is much higher.
Yeah, because I'm biased.
At least you admit it. Okay, so you've got the Lions at number 5. I've got the Lions at number 2, so we obviously severely disagree there. But that's okay. Connor's out. See you, Connor. We'll be done here pretty soon. What's your floor and your ceiling for the Vikings? Or it's for the Lions.
Lions ceiling. I don't think they go on this 15-win season again. I think their ceiling is 13-4. And I think their floor is 9-8. I think they'll still be a good team. I just don't think they're going to have this magical season that they had last year. So I think they go 13-4 as the ceiling, and their floor is 9-8.
Okay. I don't think I'd change anything about that. I think they could go 13-4. They could go 9-8. I think that's totally within the realm of possibility. I'm not going to push back on that at all. I've got them one spot higher than you, but oh wait, no, I don't. I have them several spots higher than you. But I think the difference is I think there's a real genuine. I think 13. I think 13-4 is a much more realistic prediction for the Lions than you do. Like you know what? Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to say that the Lions' ceiling is 14-3. I think I'll give them one more win than you're giving them.
Yeah.
But I still think that'll be enough for the second best team in the NFL. So you got the Chiefs at number 4. I also have them at number 4, and we agree on this. But I have a feeling we're going to have different floors and ceilings. So why don't you give me your floor and ceiling for the Chiefs?
Chiefs ceiling, I think, is 11-6, and I think their floor is 9-8.
Okay, I'm going to agree about the ceiling. I think that the Chiefs' ceiling is 11-6. However, I think their floor is 6-11.
I hope you're right.
I really hope I'm right too. I doubt I am. I can't imagine they're going to be that bad. But I meant it when I said it, that in the Super Bowl, it looked to me like there was finally a magnifying glass on Patrick Mahomes and the refs. And when he wasn't getting those calls, they got blown the fuck out. And so I think the mystique is gone. I think you can I mean, with everything going on with Rashee Rice and they're just not getting the same kind of talent pulled in as before. So maybe this isn't the year that they collapse and stop being a relevant team. But I do think it's possible that, I mean, I don't think I would bet money on it, but I think it's possible they could miss the playoffs. I think it's possible the Broncos could win the AFC West this year. Now, obviously, as you can see in my power rankings, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's possible. So for me, their ceiling is 11-6, but their floor is 7-10.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe 8-9. Maybe I'm being a little bit too optimistic with my, fuck the Chiefs. But, I really do think that there's a possibility that they could collapse this year. Completely collapse. Now, I don't think it'll be that quick, but it could. So, next up, I think both agree on the Bills, right? Yeah, we both got the Bills at number 3. So what's your floor and ceiling with them?
Bills, I think if everything goes right, I think they go 14-3. I think that's their ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their floor is 9-8.
Yeah, okay. I think if everything goes right for the Bills, they could go 15-2.
Yeah, I was thinking around that ballpark.
Just because they're such a great regular season team. But their floor, I mean, I wouldn't put it any lower than 10-7, honestly. I think the Bills will be a good team this year, barring major injury. If Josh Allen gets hurt, it's over. But
You don't believe in Mitch Trubisky?
Not really.
Man, put some respect on the MVP.
No. Anyway, so I got the Eagles at number 1. You got them at number 2.
I do have one.
So the Super Bowl champions aren't the best team in the NFL according to you.
I don't think they are.
Fair enough. What's your floor and ceiling for them?
Like, okay, so I understand they won the Super Bowl and respect to them. But I think, and obviously, I have them at number 2. It's not like I think they're going to have a massive decline after winning the Super Bowl. But I do have them being the best team in the NFC. I don't have them record-wise being the best team in the NFC. I think they're going to be fighting with the Commanders for that division. So that's still to be determined. But I think the Eagles' ceiling is 11-6 because I think they just lost a lot this offseason to reclaim that 14-3 title. So I think their ceiling's 11-6, and I think their floor, I'm gonna give them probably an 8-9 floor.
I think the Eagles' floor is 11-6. Yeah, I think the Eagles are just really good at team building, and I think they're going to stay really good. And so I think their floor is 11-6. I put their ceiling at 15-2.
I know you ain't just do that.
Yeah, I did. What of it?
I know he did not just put the Super Bowl champ at 15-2.
Okay. And then finally, you got the Ravens as the best team in the NFL.
I do have it.
And they're also wrong.
You're wrong. You're always wrong.
Not true.
That is true. 51-14.
I was 11-6.
On who? The Ravens?
No, on this. No, you said the Steelers are going to be 11-6.
Oh. Okay, and I also said the Saints have more Super Bowl wins than the Bengals and the Vikings combined.
Well, yeah, but that's history. That's not. You're not predicting anything.
I predicted it when I was 9 months old.
Look, Mikey, I just want to make something very clear right now, since I have you on camera. You can't hurt me. The Bengals have already hurt me too much.
And you can't hurt me either.
You're like, oh, the Saints have a Super Bowl, the Bengals don't. I'm like, yeah, I know. I run a whole YouTube channel where like half of the point is how much I bitch about the Bengals, right? So I know.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to get to you when I say that y'all know Super Bowls. I'm trying to get to Jim whenever I say that. But sometimes you get
well, you've been saying it a lot tonight, and Jim's not here, so I don't think that's always true.
Well, sometimes I just like to say it, but like most of the time I say it to Jim because he always tries to say, Ames 5-12, y'all don't even have a Super Bowl technically, but if you look at the history books, it says otherwise.
Well, did kind of cheat though.
I don't care, man. The Rams freaking cheated. Nobody's giving them any flack for it.
What?
The Rams cheated. No one's caring about that. Patriots cheated. No one cares about that. Chiefs cheated. No one cares about that. But
that's not. Hold on. Let's rewind a second. Nobody cares about the Patriots. Like, what are you talking about? Like people.
Not at this moment.
I mean, well, they haven't talked about it in a while because the Patriots haven't been relevant in a while.
Exactly.
But like, what do you mean? What do you mean the Rams? You talking about the Rams in 2020, or are you talking about the Rams in Or I'm sorry, in 21. Are you talking about the Rams in 21, or are you talking about the Rams in like 1999?
In 2018.
They didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
What, they cheated against us?
But that's not. But we're talking about winning the Super Bowl, Mikey.
And they went to the Super Bowl.
But they lost.
Okay, so did
pretty badly.
I mean, 10 points. So.
But with that offense, they should have it's the same argument about the Bengals. With the offense that the Bengals had that year, they should have put up way more points than they did.
The Saints were in the Super Bowl. They would have put up more points than the Rams did.
Probably not.
Yes, they would. They would have beaten the first
I
round of the Patriots.
I don't think anybody was beating the Patriots that year.
I don't think you're beating the Patriots.
This year? I actually did predict the Bengals lose to the Patriots this year.
Good to know.
So, I mean, I'm going to do, before we get to finish talking about the Ravens, I will say that, everybody should, keep track of before the season starts. I'm gonna do a record prediction stream, just for my channel for the Bengals. Like I'm gonna go through every single game, and I'm gonna predict who if the Bengals are gonna win or lose. And that's gonna be a stream, not like a video, just because I think it makes more sense as a stream personally. Um, but so I gave my floor and ceiling. I said the Bengals could be as high as 16-1. They could be as low as 9-8. But I'll give you my like actual full prediction in that upcoming stream. When that will be, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe sometime later this week. I know it'll definitely be before the Browns game though. So, but we got a little bit of time before that. But I'm just letting y'all know that that's going to be coming. But anyway, let's talk about the Ravens. So, what's your ceiling and floor for them then? That is not.
Ceiling for the Baltimore Ravens
Who the fuck is this?
Who is who?
This. I feel like that's somebody we referenced at some point.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence, right? Yeah, I accidentally clicked that button.
Comparing her to Trevor Lawrence.
That was allegedly Jennifer Lawrence, Jeff. We had because we were comparing her to Trevor Lawrence, right? Isn't that what that's probably what image 7 here is, right? Yeah, Trevor Lawrence and there's Jennifer Lawrence. So, look, they look basically the same, even though they don't really look. They look more similar than you'd think they would, I guess.
Yeah.
I could care less about the stupid Swift and Kelsey are engaged. They have their $70 million. I mean, I could probably care less if Kelsey and Swift are engaged. I don't wish them any ill though. Like, I'd sure like it if like everybody would stop playing Taylor Swift every 14 fucking seconds, and like I didn't have to hear her all the goddamn time. Like nothing necessarily against Taylor Swift and her music, but I'm tired of hearing it all the goddamn time everywhere. So like, now fuck, why do I keep doing that?
Camera again.
My camera's a Taylor Swift fan. Apparently. I think I got a loose wire down here I got to do something about. Fuck. Okay. So Ravens, floor and ceiling.
Their floor, I think, is 14-3, and I think their ceiling 7-10.
Wait, what? You said their floor is 14-3?
Ceiling is 14-3.
I swear I thought you said their floor is 14-3.
Bro, I did that already, man. Just get over it.
Okay.
Ceiling 14-3, floor 7-10.
Okay. I'll agree with you that their floor is 7-10. Why you have them as the best team in the NFL when you think they could potentially go 7-10 is kind of crazy to me.
Because that's how the Ravens do it. They're either like, bro, in 2021 they were 8-9, and then a couple years later they're 14-3. It makes no sense. I don't know.
Well, then
they're either going to be so good or they're going to be.
I think to me that would be an indication that they're not the best team in the NFL. Then.
Okay. But it's my power rankings, so I get to do what I want.
You do get to do what you want. To be fair,
I could put the Saints at all the positions if I wanted to. You can't stop me.
I can. I think I can. I think we're just going to talk about something else because, like, I'd probably flash and be like, "Guys, we were going to talk about power rankings, but then Mikey sent me this, so we're not talking about power rankings today."
Well, I could just be like the biggest troll, or I could be the biggest serious person ever. You wouldn't know.
You could, but it wouldn't make for a very good podcast.
I mean, I'll find a way to make it entertaining. But for real though, this is
how the way you do it. The way you do it is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just saying if you actually put the Saints as every single team, and didn't do that as a joke, and then like actually sent me the real one, then that would be like, well, this is just kind of pointless then.
Yeah, I think you can only do it one time though. That's because I tried, but yeah.
What? No, you can download. You can do it as many. You can download and do it as many times as you want.
Yeah, I guess I could. Maybe I don't know.
Okay. So anyway, I think the Ravens ceiling. I mean, just because Lamar Jackson does his thing and teams are stupid and just can't figure out how to deal with him, I'll give it that the Ravens ceiling is probably like 13-4 or something like that. But I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're floor is as low as you got it though. Like I think their floor is probably like 9 and 8. This is an Aints fan, and his team will suck this year. How you doing, Jim?
You see, I would talk smack to you, but then you gotta realize you never won a Super Bowl, so you don't know how it feels.
Not
I
entirely
understand.
sure. Not entirely sure you know how it feels either, though.
But I can go on YouTube and look at my Super Bowl win.
That's what you're bragging about.
Yeah.
Okay. Look up Taylor
Super Bowl
Swift and
existed when we
Napoleon
won a Super
Dynamite.
Bowl.
Well, you know what? You know what? I can go on YouTube and look up highlights of the Seattle Supersonics 1970 NBA championship. Does that mean that I get to brag to other NBA fans?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I only talk to people, bro. I would rather talk trash to a Jets fan because technically they do have a Super Bowl.
You're an insane person, you know that?
I know, but I don't care. I was born for this.
Jeff
Why do you
says
think I'm running for the entertainment committee at school, bro? I do this.
Jeff says look up Taylor Swift and Napoleon Dynamite.
No one wants to do that.
I don't want to do that either. That sounds unpleasant.
It sounds depressing.
Yeah. But what I do want to do though is I mean we're over 2 hours at this point, so that's probably longer than we need to go. Plus I'm hungry, so I guess it's probably about time to get out of here. You got anything else to say, Mikey?
Yeah, man. Spencer Rattler gonna be dotting up the Cardinals week 1, man.
You're gonna be kicking yourself for cutting Jake Haener, I think.
I would rather kick myself for keeping Jake
Not
Haener.
drafting Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe sucks so much. Like, I'm not even saying that to be a troll. I know you're trolling, but like, he just sucks so bad in college.
Oh, you're saying Taylor Swift and Napoleon Dynamite look alike? That's so you mean look up pictures of them? Well, I don't. No, they don't. Like Napoleon Dynamite, the character. Like I mean, maybe the guy who plays Napoleon Dynamite in a different like context.
Maybe.
Not really, actually. Taylor Swift. Dude, this freaking fly is getting way too bright.
Hey, be nice to the fly. Be nice to the
I'm gonna kill it when we're done. It's gonna be
No,
dead.
you're not. No, I will protect the fly if it's the last thing I do.
You live like 1,000 miles away from me.
Okay, I can mind control the fly to not die on them.
Okay, so I'm gonna say like maybe they look more alike than like you'd think that Napoleon Dynamite and Taylor Swift look, but like not really. Not really. Okay. Murder. Yes, murder. I told my wife I was gonna start putting up like Jim Crow signs in my house, but like chain adapted to being about flies. Just because like I hate flies, I literally hope they all die and just go away forever.
What if flies wish that you stepped on 1,000 thumbtacks?
They probably do. They probably do wish that because I am their nightmare.
Well, there you go.
You have to type in one go.
No, you don't.
What?
Can we end the show now? My foot literally just fell asleep on me.
Swift one go.
They're
You
trying to move my
realize
foot, bro.
Taylor Swift is actually Napoleon Dynamite in drag. Well, that's a funny thing to say, but it's also like I mean this is like okay. I'm gonna put this like real quick before we go. I'm gonna put this picture up just to like no.
I still don't know who Neapolitan Dynamite is.
Napoleon Dynamite. It was a movie back in the day.
Oh, back where what the old people used to watch.
Sure. I never liked Napoleon Dynamite. I always thought it was stupid.
Just
Like, I
like
mean,
the old.
it's supposed to be stupid, but I didn't even think it was like funny stupid. I just thought it was stupid.
So you didn't think it was Mikey stupid, but you thought it was Fly stupid?
I'm gonna intentionally ignore your comment.
What did I do?
This is the picture that he's referring to. I don't like they're making the same face, but other than that, they don't look in any way similar
That guy looks
at
like
all.
someone named Charles that just failed his exam.
Like they both of their noses are kind of skinny, but even then, his nose kind of upturns a little bit more than hers does. So like I don't understand the. It's just not. It's just incorrect.
They
They
both
don't
look
look
like vampires.
similar at all.
They both look like vampires in this picture.
Maybe because of the face they're making, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Gonna go ahead and get out of here. So, yep, I'll see y'all at some point for my Bengals record prediction, which will be sometime between now and the first, like the Browns game. And then obviously the Bengals Browns games on September 7th. So I'll be streaming that. And then go check out Mikey's channel for all the fun Saints, probably NFL, other stuff that he does there.
Saints Cardinals week 1, September 7th, baby. 12 o'clock Central.
There you go. You're going to have two uninteresting NFL teams battling against each other.
Okay, Mr. Bengals versus the 13th best team, Browns.
According to you, that's a marquee matchup, all right? According to you.
Hey, I actually got the Browns finishing with a better record than the Bengals this season, and I'm being genuine when I said that.
Then why do you have the Bengals as the 5th best team and the Browns as the 13th?
Because I can do what I want, and you can't stop me.
You hope I get to 750 subs this season? Dude, I hope I get to like 1,000 subs this season. I mean, like, as far as like the way that like growth and stuff works. I mean, 750 would be cool too. Like, I mean, if anybody subs, I just think anybody who subs is fucking awesome. So we get one more sub. I'm happy about that, honestly.
What if all the flies subbed?
No, the flies don't get to sub. I'm racist against flies.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even think that's how racism works.
It is now.
Okay.
So I've got 524 right now. So if we get to 750, then that would be pretty cool.
I got 314.
There you go. That's not bad.
Yeah.
You've been putting in some work too. You've been putting in some good work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yep. That's pretty much it. So I'll leave y'all as always with a Who Dat.